So greetings, beloveds, and welcome for those of you here and those of you watching online. I'm Reverend Mitzi, and peace be with you. So today I'm revisiting one of my very favorite messages because it's a message that we all have the opportunity to be reminded of again and again and again. And it's what's really true about you. Now, I don't know about you, but much of my life has been spent searching for an identity, for where we fit in, right? For our community, for our place in the world. And yet sometimes we find that it's not completely safe for us to be who we really are. We long to be completely authentic, like the Velveteen Rabbit, right? To be real. Anyone love the Velveteen Rabbit? Anyone read it? We should do a series on the Velveteen Rabbit. Yes, we should. Yes, we should do a series on the Velveteen Rabbit, Angie Ling. And other people sometimes make us feel, or not make us feel, but our interpretations are, it's not safe if I want to keep my job, my relationship, my whatever, to be really authentic. And so when we don't, though, when we're not completely our authentic selves, we struggle because we find ourselves trying to fit in. And what happens when we do that is we know that there's something within us that we're not fully expressing. Anyone ever, right? Anyone relating? Oh, yeah. And we long to reveal that truest identity, to know who it is, and to reveal it, to express it in the world. And while we long to figure that out, it's also a little scary because we know that once we figure it out and once we start revealing it, life's not going to be the same. Everything's going to be different. And so that deep longing continues because we try to, okay, I'm going to go this way. And the world says I must conform and be of a certain way. So we stuff it down. And again, we feel it knocking. Hello, I would like to come out. Your true identity, the truest thing about you. And so we keep doing that while yearning to discover that. And another day, another week, another month goes by, and we keep stuffing it down. And the longing starts again. And in the process of doing all of this stuffing down, we don't recognize who we become at times. We become dragoned. Dragoned. Oh. What's that? Well, C.S. Lewis wrote a series of books, children's books, really, but they're for all ages. Who knows what they are? They are the Narnia series, right? Has anyone read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe or seen the movie, right? You know, that was probably one of the first books I read as a young child. Full books. I mean, not like a picture book, but the full book. And I lived in London at the time, and I loved that book so much. We didn't have walk-in closets. I mean, those, you know, that we have in the US. We had those old, musty type of closets. And I would go in there, and I would really wait to be transported into Narnia. I'm like, I want to go to Narnia because I especially want to eat Turkish delight. And it wouldn't happen. But I really believe that it was a magical book. It is a magical book. And in the third series of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, it opens with the line, it's really kind of a strange line. It says, there was a boy called Eustace Clarence Scrubb, and he almost deserved it. Eustace Clarence Scrubb, he almost deserved that name. And much of this particular book is about Eustace's journey of personal growth. He falls asleep on a dragon's hoard, and he is transformed by the greedy, dragonish thoughts in his heart. But to Eustace, waking up as a dragon proves to be an epiphany, an opportunity. Just like anything in life for us can be an opportunity if we choose to look at it that way. Because as a dragon, what does he discover? He discovers what he really wants. he discovers that what he wants is the things that we really want too. Friendship and acceptance and love. Things that, well, in his dragonish state, they're not so available to him. People don't really usually want to be friends with a dragon, unless perhaps they're other dragons, right? But as he continues in this dragon state to go around about getting that, he works on becoming the best dragon that he can be. Yes, he says, I'm going to be the best dragon I can possibly be. And this is actually an improvement. It's actually quite an improvement on him, because he was rather a disdainful and opinionated boy. He was very self-absorbed. And before he became a dragon, he spent all his time feeling sorry for himself and regretting the past. And what does he recognize in this dragon state? He recognizes, like we talked about last week about second chances, he has been given a second chance, a new start, even as a dragon. And I think we can relate to that, because has anyone felt like they've been given a second chance ever? Ever in your life you felt like, oh, I've been given a second chance in this. And maybe it's not like, well, but maybe in a quality that you're trying to reveal more of, and you go, still not revealing that. And you recognize you're getting another chance. Everything is an opportunity. And I have to say, has anyone never changed anything about themselves ever? Right, see? So what do we change? We change our hair, we change the way we dress, we change the way we eat, we change our friends, we change our job. And we change all of this by reinventing ourselves in an attempt to become more of what is truly us, right? We want to reveal more of what is really us. But if we don't do the spiritual work at the same time, we don't do the inner growth at the same time, what happens? We keep just piling on new identities and new selves on top of old ones. And when we do that, we can become a little like Alice in Alice in Wonderland. Alice. Yes. I love when the caterpillar asks Alice who she is. She says, well, I knew who I was this morning, but I've changed a few times since then. I think we can relate to that too at times, right? Or sometimes we can layer ourselves up with responsibilities that just, well, they simply suck the life out of us. And we think, well, one more week of this, or one more year of that, or when I get past this situation, or this deal, or whatever it is, or this health challenge, then I'll have time. Then I'll have time to discover what's truly real about me and what brings me the utmost joy. Parker Palmer, anyone ever read any Parker Palmer, a great spiritual writer, said, we are whiplashed between an arrogant overestimation of ourselves and a servile underestimation of ourselves. Oh, that hurt. Seems right though, doesn't it? Seems right at times. And it's part of this human condition to add scales, to every single new identity that we inhabit. And why do we do that? We do that for what? For protection, right? It's a survival tactic. And then, when the longing to reveal, to be real, becomes greater than the longing to cover up our true identity, what do? We initiate painful self-surgery. We try and pick and pull and shrug off those layers. We try to keep doing it. But unless we engage in spiritual principles and actions while we're doing that and go to the spirit within, what happens is we're always going to have just one more layer, just one more thing to be revealed. The only one who can remove that lifetime of layers that we've piled upon us, those lifetime of scales in self-protection, is the one who knows us most, that divine creator within us, the God, the Christ mind within us. And we can try to tear off our scales to reach our true identity, but without Spirit's help, we peel off a layer only to discover what? That two more have grown back in its place usually. Oh my gosh, I peeled off that one. Yay, me! Wait, oh, what happened there? I was working on self-acceptance, and then I got really judgmental. I was working on peace, and then I got really distracted. Something like that. But underneath, all the time underneath those scales, the truest thing about us is waiting. Does anyone here, like me, long to shed absolutely everything that isn't you? Everything that isn't the truest you? I certainly do. False identities that were layered on in part through what others said about you, through what you said about yourself, through perhaps what you believed about yourself. Our identity can often feel like a mishmash of contradictions, defined by what we do, what we have, and what we desire. Anyone? It can feel like a mishmash. We're like, I want that, but wait, is that really what I really want? Aspects of our doing, being, and desiring can indeed be true and reveal parts of us, but none of them is the truest thing about us. Building our foundation, our spiritual foundation on this, on things that we have, and things that we do, and things that we desire, guarantees something. It guarantees that we're going to change identities a lot. Because if we base it on what we do, what we have, and what we desire, those things are tangible, right? They change a lot. We might change our job. We might change our situation. The truest thing about you isn't how you behave or how you would like to behave. Anyone behave in a way and then go, oh, I wish I hadn't behaved that way. Anyone ever? Yeah. It isn't the things you've done or not done. Anyone ever regret things you've done? I certainly have in my life. It isn't how you feel or don't feel. It isn't the names you've given yourself or the names others have given you. It isn't your age, whether you're straight or LBGTQI or A. It isn't your accomplishments or your procrastinations. It isn't where you live or the color of your skin. It isn't your job or your education. It isn't your shortcomings or your attributes. It isn't your health or your wealth. Here's the good news. Uncovering the truest thing about you isn't a project. Oh, isn't that great? It's not a project. It's not something you have to pray or journal about or a retreat or go on a retreat to learn. It isn't something you have to pay a counselor to discover. So in a few moments, I'm going to reveal the truest thing about you. And when you first hear it, note your reaction. You may think, seriously? Seriously? That again? I can't believe you're giving me this message again. Seriously? I've heard this. But I invite you to question yourself and think when you hear it. That's a fascinating what's my reaction there saying? And to think about, what would life be like if knowing the truest thing about you, you lived from it in every single interaction, every single aspect of self-talk? And then what I invite you to do is hear it as though you're hearing it for the very, very, very first time ever. So you're hearing it with new ears. And when I say this thing, the truest thing about us, it has a very deep impact on my soul. When I hear it, I read it, or I say it, because I know it is the truest thing. And my prayer is that you will have your own divine response to the truest thing about you, a response that will take you to deeper levels of understanding. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes so you can block out all distractions. Laurie primed us beautifully with a meditation. And we're going to have another one in a moment when I tell you the truest thing about you. So I invite you to Now, close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. And allow yourself to really hear and feel the impact of what I'm going to say. And if emotions come up, let them. Don't try to deny how you feel. Hear what I'm going to say as if for the very, very first time. The absolute, truest thing about you is that you, yes, you, are radically beloved by God. Radically beloved by the divine indwelling Christ presence in you. Radically beloved. Every other truth is an illusion. You are radically beloved by the divine Christ presence, expressing through, in, and as you. Allow this fact to flow from your head to your heart. Radically beloved by God. There is no accident that you are hearing this again. Today, right at this time, there is something within your soul that has need to accept and hear this on a deeper, more profound way. This is your truest truth, the truest thing about you. And so knowing that from this moment forth, you know the truest thing about you. You've heard it again today. And ask yourself, now, how will life be different for me as I live more fully from this truth? Define yourself as radically beloved by God, by Spirit, by the Christ presence. Let it inform all you do. Let it inform your relationships, your interactions, your decisions. Let it be who you show up in the world as. Breathe into this and say aloud, but keeping your eyes closed. And put your hand on your heart. I am radically beloved by God. I am radically beloved by God. I am radically beloved by the Christ presence within me. I am radically beloved by the Christ presence within me. Breathe into that. And if any thoughts come up, such as, I know that, I already knew it, ask yourself what message you're getting at this moment to reveal that in an even deeper way to those that you encounter. I am radically beloved by God. I am radically beloved by the divine Christ presence within me. You are divine, you are beautiful, you are loved, and lovable. Say with me, I am love, I am loved, and I am lovable. Again, I am love, I am loved, and I am lovable. Breathe into that. And now, take a deep breath. Open your eyes and come back. That is such a simple statement, right? It's one that we say every week. It's so simple. And yet, do we forget it? Do we live our lives fully remembering that? It's much more challenging to do that. Henry Nouwen, great spiritual writer and teacher, said this, and I think this is so important. Being the beloved expresses the core truth of our existence. Though the experience of being the beloved has never been completely absent from my life, I never claimed it as my core truth. Fascinating. I kept running around in circles, looking for someone or something to convince me of my belovedness. Anyone ever done that? I kept refusing to hear the voice that speaks from the very depth of my being that says, you are my beloved. On you my favor rests. That voice has always been there, but I was much more eager to listen to the other louder voices saying, prove that you are worth something, do something relevant, spectacular, or powerful, and then you will earn the love you so desire. Anyone relate to any of that? Oh yeah, right? We relate to that. I think that is so powerful. Brennan Manning, define yourself as radically beloved by God. This is your truest self. Every other identity is an illusion. Those are things we do when we show up in the world, but at our core, we are loved. And when we remember that, we show up differently in life. We show up very differently. So, beloveds, breathe into that and watch the scales fall away as you remember afresh what's really true about you and allow that to shine anew. Beloveds, go be love. The world needs you, all of you. And so here's a beautiful song that I love, one of my favorites.
We hide pain in the weirdest places, broken souls with smiling faces, fighting for surrender, for now and the after, yeah. Just look around and you see that people are scared to say how they really feel. Oh, we all need a little honesty, yeah. You are love. If your heart's in 1,000 pieces, if you're lost and you're far from reason, just look up, know you are loved. Just look up, know you are loved. When it feels like something's missing, if it hurts but you can't find healing, just look up, know you are loved. Just look up, know you are loved. We're not made to be superheroes, photoshopped, all size zeros, a light not expected, but not quite perfected, yeah. Look up, see the sun is shining, there's hope on a new horizon, calling you, it's calling. You are love. If your heart's in 1,000 pieces, if you're lost and you're far from reason, just look up, know you are loved. Just look up, know you are loved. When it feels like something's missing, if it hurts but you can't find healing, just look up, know you are loved. Just look up, know you are loved. You don't have to prove yourself. Don't try to be someone else. You don't have to prove yourself. Don't try to be someone else. You are loved. You are loved. Just look up, know you are loved. Just look up. You are loved. If your heart's in 1,000 pieces, if you're lost and you're far from reason, just look up, know you are loved. Just look up, know you are loved. When
Loving Mother, Father, God, we know that when we look up, we're not looking up from something outside of ourselves. We're not looking up to see God in the clouds because we know that God resides right in us. But as we look up, we lift our head up and we remember the infinity, the expanse of the universe, that God resides within us. God, the Master, the Creator, the divinity that lives within us. He's loving us always. We remember that in a new way today. It's such a simple thing to say, oh, I know that the divine spirit within loves me, but it is an opportunity within so many of us to remember that at times of challenge, to remember that when we are angry or upset or resentful or fearful or judging ourselves or judging another, to step back and be in that place and say, what at this divine moment would I say if I remembered how truly I am loved and that I am here to share that divine love with all I meet? With all I meet, and to see that divine love, to see that divine face of love in all others. Thank you, God, for this message today, that we remember it and we awaken to it. We know that, yes, so those scales fall away as we reveal the identity that we are here to be, that identity of Christ's, the Christ love expressing in, through, and as us in all situations. Even when they're challenging, even when they're joyous, even when they're really scary, we remember we are loved and we share that love. Thank you, Spirit, that this prayer is answered and revealed. We know that as we go about our week this week, we step into a new realization with joy in our hearts. And so it is. Amen. Let us say, I am a beloved child of God, here to be an ambassador of good. Yes, we are. And so it is time to take our joyful gifts to our heart and to accept and know that as we give, we receive. We see those coming back to us a bazillionfold. Yes, we do indeed, Divine Spirit. We see all who give online as well. That is also coming back. We see our community blessed. We see all who are traveling, who are working. We look forward to welcoming them back as well. Thank you, God. And we say together, I am a joyful sharer of my good. I remember that as I give, I receive, and that God is my source. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Divine Spirit, for these blessings and these gifts. We bless the giver and the receiver and the stewardship of their use. And we bless every single prayer that is in the prayer box, has ever been in the prayer box, and will ever be in the prayer box. And so it is. Amen. And we also bless every single person who has yet to come and join us. Yes, we accept this room being filled. Yes, we do. We see that people are returning from their vacations, and we see new people being with us, and for that we are grateful. We hold that vision within our head. Thank you, God, and so it is. Our beloved board has been working very diligently. I want to give them a round of applause. They've been working through some things, and love is who each of us in this journey at Unity of Tempe, home of divine love, are each called to be. That is part of our mission, to reveal love in a greater way through ourselves and to share that with others. And we do that more by remembering who we really are. Unity of Tempe partners with the Church of the Epiphany to support our local community. We're so grateful to do this. Matthew's Crossing Food Bank. And these are the items that are needed. We know we have some water in Ed and Barbara's car, so hopefully Ron or I or someone will be able to get that from them, because they said, I've got some water, and they really wanted to come and drop that off. So those are items, and we're collecting water too. So let us say together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All is well, and we are grateful. Yes, we are grateful. Have a wonderful week, beloveds online. We do hope that you will join us in person very soon. Namaste.